One of the challenges we have in the regulatory environment is it's not one regulation, it's lots of regulations. It can be anywhere from healthcare through to CAFE standards to green vehicle technology. And how do you manage that? Well, that's about how do you manage your governance structures, or at least part of that is about your governance structures.
There is an increased attention on sharing IP, and sharing IP is critical because it increases really speed to market. Now there is some aspects that we need to be careful when IP is shared, and that has to do with regulatory aspects of what can really be shared and what cannot be shared, and also has to do with protecting the IP itself.
Another area that we're looking at is what's happening to the regulatory environment in the context of the current economic crisis. Clearly, the U.S. economy and the world economy kind of went to the edge. And there was a lot of funding that came into place, or a lot of different governmental interventions that came into place to pull that economy back from the edge. But what came with that is an increased sense of transparency and a need for that, as well as regulation.
With a business that's been in a market such as Eastern Europe or Russia or Turkey or even South Africa for many years, what we're seeing is that they're having to review where they are. Regulations have changed, incentives have changed.
We are seeing increased responsibility and increased requirements around governmental contracting programs. It could be construction, it can be Department of Energy grants, but all of them are building in effectively more compliance requirements, not fewer. And so as you start to look at that environment, you say, okay, are my models, are my structures in place to not only manage what I see today, but anticipate what is going to be coming down the path.
The issues are, what are the latest incentives? What's the latest tax governance and tax policies being put forward? What's the current government perspective on foreign enterprises in those markets? All of those have to be considered and reconsidered on a fairly regular basis as part of that business's strategy in those markets.
Change is what we deal with, and we're dealing with a lot of uncertainty. That tends to create a space where you want more resiliency and more adaptability versus a specific strategy that you follow come hell or high water.
Whether it's the regulatory environment of a global auto manufacturer, whether it's the cultural environment, whether it's the agility of a private company, I think it does point out that agility and the ability to change quickly and the ability to pursue a strategy quickly is probably going to be the biggest competitive advantage going forward.